What's up? What's up? What's up? Here about there doing today. It's your boy, Coach Lee. It's Thursday. We 2 days away from the weekend. And man, we got another litty show for you tonight. Another one of my good personal friends is hanging out with me tonight. Known this cat for some years, man. Actually from man, child to man.
Yeah.
Yes, man. Yes, man. Yes, sir. It's my boy Rem B Smooth on this bad boy. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me. And I just want to say again, nothing feels better than not just being like recommended or accepted by just someone abroad, but by like your actual peers, like people who actually know you. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we come from somewhere, the people that know us try to not necessarily hold us down or keep us from shining, not because of any type of like jealousy or envy, but sometimes they just scared for you to, if you go too far without them, then you forget about them.
Absolutely.
And then they still over here. So when it's your actual peers pushing you up, lifting you up, you know what I mean? It means a lot. And like you said, from man child to man, this feels good. This feels like full circle.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like something good is getting ready to happen because we're better than here to start. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, man. You know, the whole thing, and the reason why I say man child.
Yeah.
This dude was in high school, man.
Yeah.
We used to work together.
Yeah.
And he was leap years where he should have been.
I appreciate you.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank
he
you.
already had the encouragement, you know, within himself.
Thank you.
The exuded confidence.
I appreciate
you. Couldn't tell him he wasn't a man.
No, yeah, for sure. That means a lot. And hey, you guys giving me one of my first jobs ever, is important, especially coming from where we come from, right? And those neighborhoods. Sometimes somebody just needs just a chance. You know what I mean? True. Because, I've learned as I'm older to have a lot more understanding, compassion, and mercy for how some people end up in some situations, and I've even been in some of those situations. But I've seen a guy that, knocked on this door and asked, could he cut your grass? And then knocked on this door, right? Or asked this person for a job and they said no. And then before you know it, they're running in somebody's house or somebody's store. And then now they up the road looking at a 10 or 20-year sentence, and they were just struggling and didn't know what to do. So sometimes you giving just somebody a chance can stop all that. That's changes true, all that, save somebody from a lot of that. So I appreciate you guys.
That's
for sure.
Deep, man.
Yeah. People don't realize that small thing. I realized it later in life. To be honest with you, someone that I took it upon myself. I've showed it on if you know me personally, or like even social media and stuff. Sometimes I figure it's okay to vlog some things. You know, people vlog what they eat, and you know what I mean. People vlog their new relationship, but don't want you to show you doing good for somebody. But I met somebody one time at a gas station in South Dallas or whatever, somewhere like off of Malcolm X and Hatcher or whatever, and he asked me. It's like, he was living outside the gas station, as a matter of fact, and asked me for like some change. And I never forget, I think at that part where I was in life, I was so used to everyone just asking for something. And that day I was irritated. So I looked at him and I said, I'll tell you what, everything I got right now, I had to take it to get it. Why don't you just take it from somebody then? You know what I'm saying? Didn't nobody give me this. And the dude said, all right, man. And he walked away. But then I thought about it. I said, well, if he used my advice on me, he could take it from me right now. You know what I mean? And I'd be in a different situation. So I thought about it. I came back around, circled back around, gave him a little something, got to know this person or whatever. And whenever I could find another job, whether it was cutting somebody's grass or whatever I could do, you know what I mean? And I become friends with this person. Well, after getting to know them, I didn't realize this person had did like 30 years in the penitentiary for murder. He don't get the same chances extended to him that the average person does. Now he might have made some mistakes, but that was 30 years ago, who knows? And so it's been, I got on video in some places where this dude is saying, man, if it wasn't for this guy, I wouldn't have nothing at all. But then just think, how much longer is he willing to, he would show, we would video where he lived outside the gas station, and he would say, this is my entire life in this box outside this gas station. So he would sweep it, clean it, you know what I mean? Pick up the trash. Yeah, take pride in it. But who's to know someone don't come along and help this man? He did something 30 years ago that maybe he felt he didn't have no other choice at the time. You giving this person a chance may save somebody else's life too, because eventually this person might get fed up. Yep. You get what I'm saying? Living under these conditions and these situations. You feel me? So I appreciate.
He's gonna try to take.
Yeah. Exactly right. He run out of options. He don't know the other options he has. Right. You know, and so I just learned a lot of compassion and mercy. But I also noticed, like, sometimes we take for granted when someone does something simple for us, like give us a job, and then we don't have that appreciation for what they really did in our lives. You guys giving me a chance, allowed me to feed myself, feed my young son. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of that. So I appreciate you. I'm grateful.
That's what's up, man.
Thank you.
That means a lot, my brother.
Absolutely.
So, that's a hell of an introduction.
I apologize.
Nah, that's what we want, man. Raw and uncut. So what are you up to these days?
Working, you know, music, man. Music is my first love, you know, and music a lot of times feels like life, you know what I mean? So I've been working on some really good projects. I'm releasing a single. My goal is to release a single a month, because I got enough music kind of stored up, right, to release it a month. But then you also want to give it some shelf life, and nowadays, you know, songs live a little bit longer. But like regularly, I'm releasing new music, singles and things like that. I got some upcoming projects. I'm in the studio as much as I can. And then, you know, when you're outside the studio, you really kind of, you know, trying to strategize and figure out this marketing part, you know, and all the business and all the things.
As efficient as possible.
Correct.
So you're up to going through these different scenarios. So when it comes time to act upon it, you don't drop the ball anywhere.
Absolutely.
It's just efficient and streamline and capitalize on everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm in the studio. In fact, I just set up my home studio the other day, the first home studio I had in a long time or whatever.
That's what's up, man.
Bouncing all over these places, and they charging you an arm and a leg or whatever. And it's an investment, you know what I mean? But so I'm working, you know, and I love the work that I do. It you know, it's like, it's my purpose, it's my passion, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm passionate about everything I do. I love it. You know what I mean? And I'm blessed to be able to do that. You know, my business that makes me money or whatever is something that I love. I'm not going to a job that I hate, right? When I'm in a studio, I'm not doing it reluctantly. For some people, it is just a job, you know what I mean? And stuff, you know, I'm raising my family. I'm engaged, you know.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate you. So
when's
I'm just
the date?
Man, we don't have a date. The goal is, again, to by the end of the year, though, somewhere secluded or whatever, somewhere like destination, you know what I mean?
It's surreal, man. My boy Rem, married, got a family and stuff like that. I'm like, man.
Yeah, it feels good. Yeah. I'm growing up, right?
Going
this world and everything.
Proud of you, bro.
Yeah. You see, I'm got the kids in the next room and everything. So, and I love my daughter being able to see this type of stuff or whatever, because only God knows where she's going to be, you know, when it's her time, you know what I'm saying? Just getting her ready and prepared. But man, I'm just living, loving, and enjoying life and every bit of it, you know?
That's what's up, my man. So you talked a little bit about the guy that, you know, obviously you made a difference in his life, and him having no history and past and stuff like that. But your past is well documented.
Sure, absolutely.
What motivated you to get past that?
Okay, yeah, could definitely document it. In fact, you might not be able to give me the same job opportunity today that you did when I was a kid, right? Because of my record,
right?
But you said what
motivated you to get past that, man? Because it was pretty trying time.
Yeah, absolutely. And first thing, you know, that I want to say is, because I've got a lot of motivation. To answer that question specifically, I'm gonna get to that. I do want to say that even when I was in those situations, and that's me understanding and having compassion on that guy, being able to understand. I didn't want to be there. You know what I mean? I tell people all the time, when I was, 16, 17, 18 years old, I had dreams of going to college just like all of my friends, but I didn't come from a stable home where I had the opportunity to just be able to go to school. I had to work to be able to pay to live in a motel, you know what I mean? And those type of things. And not a lot of, you know what I mean, jobs give you that opportunity. So even when I was in that situation, sometimes it's just survival. And I can remove myself from the situation and look at others and realize sometimes just because you do some bad things don't mean you're a bad person. You know what I mean? But we do eventually have to get, you know what I'm saying, find a better way.
Right.
And so the things that motivate me the most now, especially with regard to my music, and just not just staying free, but just being free and being alive and being productive. You know what I'm saying? Being beneficial, not artificial, being able to truly help somebody else other than myself. My daughter, for sure. When I was gone, my daughter was on her deathbed. And you saw her run in here and run out. She was never supposed to walk or do any of those things. Now she's doing everything doctor said she wouldn't be able to do. And so that was my biggest motivation. I didn't ever want to do anything that would allow me to be removed from her life ever again, you know, because she needed me. And by the grace of God, I had made parole that the same week that we needed to opt in for like a life-saving surgery or whatever and cutting her body, and we did it. And it's been a long road, but she's recovered. She's been a miracle. You know what I mean? She's been a blessing. So that's been one of my biggest motivations and inspirations, just to be who she believes I already am. You know what I mean? Yeah. The person she sees, and
you are Superman.
Yeah, absolutely. And it feels good to be that for somebody, you know? And then the other thing is, with regards to the music, something that really just motivates me is, and it doesn't happen every day, but when it happens, man, it just reminds me why I'm doing what I'm doing and why I got to keep going. I had someone on a project that I released called 621, which is probably documenting my life up into that project, right? And all the love, the horror, the pain, the trauma, all of it, all in one. And a young kid, DMs me on Instagram, and he says, "Man, I was suicidal tonight, and I was having these thoughts, you know, go on in my head and everything like that." And it was actually a relationship or whatever. I won't bring, you know, I'm not going to put him on blast or anything like that. But he said, "I was suicidal and I wanted to end my life. And I'm listening to one of your songs, and it sounds like you were going through the same thing that I'm going through. But the difference is, when I go and I look at your page, right? And I go and I look at you, you look like you don't feel like that anymore. You're happy. You look like you're in love. You look like you have all the things in life that I would like to have." And so, you know, when I got a message like that, because you never know how serious someone is and they're suicidal. So a lot of DMs will come in and you kind of ignore them, right? Or you don't pay too much attention to them. But I said, but let me say something to this person. You know what I mean? The things get better. You know, I don't remember exactly what I said. It's in my DM or whatever. But I said, because you just don't know. Sometimes they just need somebody to talk to. You know what I mean? Somebody to hear them too. You know what I mean? Not necessarily have the answers, just hear them out. And I didn't have a lot of answers. All he was taking was what he heard, that I had been through whatever he was going through, and that I had got over it. And he figured, he said, just like this, he said, "I figure if someone like you could overcome that, then I could probably overcome what I'm feeling right now too." And so we would talk a little bit, and later he would even send me random messages like, "Hey, I'm feeling this. Can you write a song about it?" and stuff like that. You know, so that right there really motivates me, like, to not give up, because it may not be for everybody, but for the person that it does save their life, right?
It's gonna find them.
Yeah, exactly. And then weird message that I get from some guy that says, "Hey, I don't even listen to rap music. I listen to heavy metal, rock music. But he said, I kid you not, I shit you not." He said, "I was going through my divorce and your music helped me through that entire period." And I think I did repost some of those messages or whatever, things that are I don't want to, you know, put no one on blast or embarrass him. But I said, but those things like that, that's important. You know what I mean? Because there's been times in my life where music helped me get through it. You know what I mean? Or where a song just helped me, you know, just helped me, like, put me in a different place. You know what I mean? So I could forget about what I was going through, you know, and things. So those things really motivate me, man, to just keep going, not give up. And that I know I have a bigger purpose.
That's a two-way relationship if you think about it, because you're doing your music, your art, your craft, you love your passion.
Absolutely.
And you're getting motivation from those that listen to you.
Definitely. 100%.
And then on the other side, the listeners are listening to your music, and like the two gentlemen that you spoke about earlier, not except, but especially the first one, you gave him motivation to know that it's painful right now.
Yeah.
But you can come out on the other end of it and enjoy life again.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not to be all the end all.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
That's what's up, and that's why we do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, that means a lot to me. You know, I may not be able to save, you know, 1 billion lives or 1 million lives, but if you could just save one, you know what I mean? Something my grandmother used to always say is, when you die here, you know, and you get ready to go to the pearly gates, God probably ain't gonna ask you how much money you make or how many cars you bought or homes you had. You know what I mean? He's probably gonna ask you, how many souls did you save? How many people did you leave back to me? That's, you know what I mean? Of all the building that you're doing or whatever, that's probably the most important of it all.
That's almost a purpose of life if you think about it. Like, people always ask, what is life for? We're actually supposed to be here while we're here to make one another better.
Absolutely.
And we don't do this sometimes because of the jealousy, the animosity, the love, the hate and things like that. But at the end of the day, if you boil it down, we're supposed to make one another better.
Yeah, 100%.
We got to do better with that, y'all.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially the people in your within your direct reach, but even that extend far beyond that, because you think about it like in your own family, right? I got my immediate family, people in my house under my roof, but then I got cousins. I got first, second, third cousins, you know what I mean? Right. Aunties, uncles, people and at the end of the day, we all one, it's all human nature. You know what I'm saying? We all one big family, mankind. You feel me? So definitely, this is one earth and we all got to share this turf. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, my man.
Yeah.
So what has been your greatest accomplishment since you touched back down, from your time away from your family?
Yeah. I would say one, being able to raise my family. You know what I mean? Being able to be the man of my home, and when we remove ourselves from the situation, right, and we get sent off or go somewhere else, that man ain't in that household no more. He ain't able to lead no more.
Right.
And even in just the hierarchy or structure of things, the man is typically the head of the home. And we know anything, if the head, the head falls, the body will die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so my main thing has been being the head again and the true head, you know what I mean?
Right.
But also, raising my daughter, right? Getting her back healthy and those things. And, I think my greatest accomplishment, though, I've always known music was in my heart, my purpose, and my passion. It's one thing to start something, but it's another thing to finish it.
Right.
And I think a lot of times in my past, I wasn't as consistent as I should have been. My biggest accomplishment now is I'm finishing the things that I start, not just working.
You are definitely focused. I've noticed it.
I appreciate you.
I've always followed you from afar, but I've noticed that, man. I've watched your progression.
That means a lot.
As you matured, and I'm like, he about his business.
Thank you. Yeah. So that project, 621, that album, I think is one of my greatest accomplishments. And then all the stuff that I got coming that you guys are getting ready to hear. Doing what I'm doing now, doing what I love, you know what I mean? And really putting my all into it so that I don't have no regrets. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy. Everyone tells me wherever we go, hey man, you're going to be a star. You're going to make it. You could do it. Right. But I'm 70 or 80 years old saying, man, everyone said this about me and I could have did it, but I just didn't keep going.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I think my biggest accomplishment today is my consistency in the thing that I say I love. Because it's one thing to say you love something, but not to have the action to follow behind it, and love requires you to be committed when it don't feel good. When you know what I'm saying? Like, we love our kids, right? So when they do something wrong, we won't just tell them get out the house. But you say you love your girlfriend, but when she do something wrong, you quick to say, get out the house. Well, if you really love her, you're going to be committed when it don't feel good. You're going to get up when you're tired. You know what I mean? Right. You're going to do it when you got money and when you don't have money. And so my main thing is just the consistency in the things that I say I love. And that's not just music. That's the people that I love. That's my family. That's my home. Like, I'm committed to you. I'm here and I'm here for the long haul. Right. We're going to make it happen and we're going to figure it out. And I mean that relationally. I mean it, personally, physically, spiritually. I mean it with business, just being committed and consistent to the things that God put in my heart. You know what I mean? Those passions and that purpose or whatever.
Commitment's a big thing. They always say that you could take a motivational speaker that talks about you can make $75 million.
Okay.
And you follow my plan.
Yeah.
You think about it. and shit works if you committed and disciplined to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. A lot because it's just yeah, you just got to stay. You know, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. You know what I mean? And the thing is, we just got to put in the time and put in the work, and it's gonna happen. You know, and that's anything. You know, you plant something, you put something into the ground, and you water it and you nurture it, and it has no choice but to come up. You know what I mean? And to grow into something, you know? And so I think that's one of my biggest accomplishments are now. Before I wanted the tree, before I wanted the seed. And that's how I ended up too. I'll take full responsibility.
Right.
That's how I ended up where I went. I want, or maybe somewhere down the line, that's where it ended up. I could get the trees without having to put the seed in the soil and water it and nurture it. You know what I mean? I could get all the flat, but I think that's my biggest accomplishment now is knowing that I know where I'm at and I know where I'm headed, and it's okay to put this seed in the ground for this season, and it's okay to water it. It's okay to get out here when the sun is hot, you know what I mean, and take care of it until it grows. And I'm gonna grow with it. We're gonna grow together, you know what I mean, and we're gonna experience this beautiful growth and journey together versus just you know, I want it, I got it, I need it now. You know what I mean? It's okay. However long it takes. Because when I get it, it's going to be worth all the, you know what I mean?
And it's interesting to know that you look at it like that, because at the end of the day, people think that people that are successful, the reward is monetarily.
Correct.
But really, the reward in my eyes is the journey that it took you to get from where you started to the
absolutely
to success you have at the end.
Yeah.
That's the real reward.
Absolutely.
And that's when you have really appreciation for what you become.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Okay. So let's look at the grassroots.
Okay. Speaking of
Rem, the hip hop artist.
Okay, yeah.
So who were some of your music influences?
So I'll say, of course, again, when we say hip hop, growing up, I listened to a lot of R&B too. I love R&B, and I'm implementing a lot of that in my music nowadays too.
I hear it in
know,
there.
Yeah, I appreciate you. And nowadays, rappers sing, you know.
Right.
But my favorite, so I listen to guys like Genuine back then, Drew Hill. A couple names go without like saying, like don't even have to mention them, like the greats, like Michael Jackson.
Genuine was he stayed in the rotation.
But yeah. But those guys right there, right? Genuine, Drew Hill, 112. But as far as like, and like I said, some names like Michael Jackson, you don't even got to mention them. They're at the top of everybody's list. But for me, like my top, you know what I'm saying? My favorites, the ones that inspire me to really do what I do today, Lil Wayne, for sure. Number one, Lil Wayne. Outkast, Big Boy, and Andre 3000. Yeah, both of them, because I like the, you know, the duality or whatever.
We miss y'all, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely. So Lil Wayne, Outkast. And the third one, you know, some people may be surprised, but I loved Cameron when I was a kid.
Really?
Killer Cam, yeah, Killer Cam. And I loved his early years. He was he was lyrical. He could be lyrical if he wanted to.
Right.
But I think he kind of learned, you know, what sold more and quicker and what was more popular. He was a trendsetter, you know, Cam. The thing is, the part of the reason why I love Cam so much, you get so much like Outkast, right? Like you get the conscious music, right? You get the lyrics. Lil Wayne, you just get like all the flavors, like gumbo. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like all the different like styles. Because Lil Wayne could do all your favorite rappers in one, if you ask me. Yeah. Especially once you go through like his mixtape era, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that. He could be all your favorite guys in one, in my opinion. But then like Cam, where I started to like love Cameron's music, Killer Cam or whatever, I was listening to Nas one day with somebody, and it was a good song. It was that project where it was Nas and one of the Marley brothers. Remember that project? They had a really cool project together.
They did one album, right?
Yeah, and Nas is going like way past like whatever 16 bars. Music is a lot shorter now, and he's just rapping like, I think the beat even stops and he's still going. And the person next to me says, "Okay, come on, give it a break." They said, "We know you smart, we know you intelligent, but I don't want to hear." And I realized some people just want to feel good when they listen to music. You know what I mean? They want to just be able to relax and kind of like get away from the world. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's where like Cam, I think, is real good at just like, you know what I mean? A lot of things.
The relatives.
Distant Relatives was a project. Yeah, definitely.
With Damian Marley.
Yeah, with Damian Marley. It was a good project too. But I realized a lot of times, people don't it's like it's not what you say, it's how you say it, especially like with like women, right? They don't necessarily, they care about how you make them feel. They don't even care if it makes sense. If you make them feel good, it's all good.
Don't be giving all the secrets away, man.
You know what I'm saying? So so those would be my top as like a young, because I I kind of was raised in the 90s and 2000s, right? So Lil Wayne for hip hop, for rap,
Right.
Outkast and Cam. But again, I listened to everything from Babyface to even Bootsy Collins, because my father, you know what I mean?
Right.
I bring George Clinton, you know what I mean? And a little bit James Brown and all of that, Prince. My mother loved Prince and Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey. So I listened to all of
goats,
them, man. But during my time, like I like Silk, remember the R&B group Silk,
of course,
or whatever, Blackstreet, Drew Hill,
H-Town.
Yeah, H-Town. I didn't, they were a little bit, I think, before my time, but I would
Don't make me feel old, man.
So my bad. Well, let me say this. Where we're at in Texas, we got the blessing to be able to listen to a lot of that, because Chopped and Screwed had these tapes where they would take the slow jams and chop and screw them. So I also listened to a lot of Chopped and Screwed.
Yeah.
Girl, I think if you lived in Texas, it was hard not to at a certain point. Everything Chopped and Screwed. Even, let me not forget, Paul Wall and Chameleonaire.
Right.
They were in Lil Flip. That was real big, being from Texas and them being in Texas, of course, the, UGK, Pimp C.
That's royalty there, man.
Yeah.
Texas royalty right there.
Yeah, but my top is always going to be Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne #1 for sure.
Okay. So that's definitely a good flavor and variety. What's the one thing you work at that's the hardest to do?
I think now, because I've been doing music for, as long as I can remember. And at one point in time, lyrics mattered more in the hip hop genre, right? In the rap genre, lyrics were really important. Okay. And today is melody, right? Is how you say something and how it makes somebody else feel. So those vibes. So now it's like trying to break away from just being a lyricist to make sure that the melody is just as important, if not. But it's very difficult as an artist to sacrifice lyrics for melody. So trying to create a balance, that's something that I work the hardest on now.
Do you think that's because of the way music is listened to now with the streaming services? So music is usually songs by 2.5, 3 minutes now.
Yeah.
So you gotta get in there, grab their listeners' attention,
correct,
right away.
For sure, under 3 minutes. A song got to be under 3 minutes. And I mean, they've even had songs like I've seen like a minute and like 30 something seconds. Like, man, and that's also strategic too, because what'll happen is you'll have to repeat that song, and so that's good for their algorithm, right?
Right.
And that's good for their streams. Like, they got the stuff down to a science. You know what I mean? And that's all we gotta do is figure out the mathematics. I think that is a part of it, right? Because you only get so much time. Even back in the Gap, when we used to pass out, like try to take mixtapes to the radio station,
right,
and stuff, and get them to listen. Someone used to give me a lot of advice, a lot of game, a lot of gems and jewels or whatever. This person right here is not one of those people that, like, a lot of these radio executives act to give you the cold shoulder,
right,
act like they got like some $1 million job or something or whatever. But Cruz used to tell me, hey, I got to listen to, so I get so many of these a day, you know what I mean? And we're all trying to break another artist that if you can't get my attention in the first 7 seconds, I probably done already, you're like, man, so you ain't got time to be doing all these sound effects and all these drops. Like, you got to get to it and get to it quick. And it makes sense. And it's fair too. You know what I mean? Because people are busy with their life and everything like that. So, if you want them to give you a chance, you got to give them a reason. So now the thing that I work the hardest at is I don't want to sacrifice lyrics. You know what I mean? I am intelligent and I do have something to say and I do want you to hear it, but I also want you to feel good too. So just finding the balance between melody and consciousness. You know what I mean?
Right. So I've already stated that you and I worked together when you was a younger man.
Yeah.
And another thing that I noticed at that time is, I wouldn't say that you got bored with stuff, but I always saw that you had to constantly stay busy.
And for sure.
You always had something that you would dedicate your time to. It could be A, B, C, D.
Yeah,
but you had time for everything as far as it's concerned. To me, that's the makings of a mogul.
Okay, I
because
appreciate
you know I can take advantage of that, or I can utilize that situation, and it's going to benefit me.
Yeah.
And you got to have a keen eye for that.
Yeah.
That's what makes a lot of people successful. So I'm gonna call you a mogul.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. It's happening. It's coming. It's coming.
So with that being said, what are some of your business interests?
So I don't know how many people because I also separate between different platforms and channels to try not to like cross promote or mix anything. And there's been times in the past where it's like I don't even tell like a certain group of people what I do over here because some
you got to go into details.
Yeah, right. Because some like say like you own like say you franchise a Popeye's chicken or something, right?
Right.
As soon as people start to know that is you and they don't like you, well then they don't go to your business no more, right? But
makers of a mogul, man.
Yeah, right. But I love what I do, right? And it saved my life and it's changed my life and it takes care of my family. You know what I mean? All the trips we go on, every meal we eat, every time we put gas in the tank, right? And I am an entrepreneur, right? I am self-employed.
That's what I was getting at.
And so, yeah.
He's his own boss.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wake up and I promote that too. I promote that to people. I encourage people, right? In fact, when I was gone, I prayed that when I came home, because I was my own boss before I left, but I was my own boss in the wrong way.
Gotcha.
So ambition is good, but a selfish ambition that helps you and hurts somebody else, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Is not necessarily. It's okay to be ambitious, but we want to go at it the right way.
Right.
And that's what I learned. There's a way for everybody to win versus just this person winning and then you're hurting and destroying all these people over here. You know, business is business at the end of the day. And I've learned a healthy balance because sometimes it's hard to be a good human and a good businessman, right? Like sometimes, like if I'm doing like really good business, well, then this person feels like I'm a bad human. You know what I mean? Like and if I'm doing really bad business because I'm helping everybody, I'm giving everything away.
Right.
We all feel like I'm a good person, but now I'm being bad,
you or your family.
Yeah, and I'm being bad to my business, you know, and people, your family, you can kind of do wrong and make it up to them, right? You can do this and you can, hey, I'm sorry, and you can work on getting it. But business, you treat your business wrong, and it don't forgive you.
No,
you're bankrupt, you're losing licenses and stuff like that. The business that I'm in today, right? The business that I have, the business that I own, has just been a blessing to me. I learned, I will say this, everything when I did what I did in the past, everything that I learned there, I applied it here. Believe it or not, it's crazy.
I believe
like
you.
When I first came home, I saw myself so and I could say well, when I first came home, let's just say everything in business anyways is buying and selling. Right. Well, I don't care whether it's houses and real estate, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's cars,
you can speak your mind here about
or whatever. Okay, cool. So when I went away, I went away or whatever, right? And I did some time, and I was sentenced to 5 years in the penitentiary. I made parole, and I was able to come home early, but I was selling dope at that time. When I got into that situation, I had actually got laid off. I got laid off from a real good opportunity, a 6-figure opportunity, and I still had bills coming in and stuff like that. And I was getting unemployment and I couldn't actually find anything quick enough to pay my bills. And I was taking care of my son and then having to pay attorney fees to fight his mother. And that was getting expensive.
Right.
My son, baby Remington. And
how old is he now, by the
way? My son, he's a big boy now. So he was born in 2003. And here we are. But that son was actually born in 2011. Whatever, because I got another son too, born in 2003. But baby Remington was born in 2000. And 2010.
Okay.
And here we are in 2023. So I'm taking care of him, and I lost this job, and I'm getting unemployment, but it's not paying everything, right?
Right.
And I just go to the quickest thing I know. Matter of fact, someone's like, here. And this is their way of helping me too. They're not trying to do anything like evil. They just like, hey, you need to pay your bills. Here you go. So it starts to pay my bills, right? Little by little. But then months down the line, I'm not just making like $100 a day. I might be making $1,000 a day, you know? And then I'm making like $10,000, $20,000 a week, right? And then I forget about ever going to look for a job again. Now years have passed and it's like, oh, I forgot I needed a job. You know what I mean? Because now I don't need one no more, right? I have everything that I need, and you really quickly forget, you know what I mean? And you just lose track, you know what I mean? And then it's hard to leave now making 20 grand, you know what I'm saying, a week. Well, what job can I go apply for to now make this? I might as well stay in this field, you know, you just doing a math problem. Well, eventually that's going to catch up to you. You know what I'm saying? And all money is not good money. And I've even learned in this business, you can't do good business with bad people, because sometimes I get investors that come in, right? And somebody wants to say, here, I want to pour in 150 grand or whatever and make this grow. But who is giving you the money too? You know what I'm saying? You can't do, I've learned that's a big lesson. You can't do good business with bad people. But the thing was, at that time, the person that was helping me in that field, they were giving me so much of what they were giving me, right? And at that time, I went to prison for weed and cocaine. Just what I was thinking, manufacturing, distributing controlled substances is the actual charge is called. And I was like, they gave me, and they kind of was like an open store where they were like, just take whatever you need, right? So I would get it fronted to me, right? But I knew I couldn't get rid of it, and I had to come back within a certain amount of time. So I would enlist a couple friends and people, right, to help me get rid of it quicker. But to get rid of it quicker, it was some of the best product. And I would just get rid of it cheaper than everybody else, right? So I ended up essentially becoming a wholesaler. But then now I'm ringing up every few days. So whatever I'm getting rid of now, you know, so whatever I'm getting from you, the average person, they might make like 15, 20 grand off this a week. Well, they got to break it all down. So I'm just gonna go ahead and sell it quick, and I'm only gonna make like a grand, but today, and I'm gonna do that like every other day, right? Until I figure it out. Eventually, I start to grow. So I'm selling the best stuff for the cheapest prices. So people are coming, you know what I mean, like clockwork.
Right.
And I'm not only feeding myself, I am feeding other families and helping other people. I was always helping other people, anyways, right? Well, after I get sent away, you know, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I come home. I just pray about it for a long time. But one of the businesses that I get into or whatever, I'm able to buy a different type of product, a legal product, right? And
keep them folks off of you.
And so these big guys are selling it, like you got these big like Fortune 500 companies,
right,
are selling the same thing that I'm selling, right? And they're sitting on their products for maybe like 2 weeks, and they're making like 40 to a 60% markup, right? Well, I'm like, okay, well, when I was doing this,
they got to pay for their overhead.
Yeah, they got a lot of overhead though, so they got to. So what I was like, well, when I was doing this, I had the best stuff for the cheapest prices, and so people never stopped coming, and they came quick, and I was able to go re-up quick. So I don't need to make 40 to 60%, right? If I just make like 15%, which is fair, the customer wins, right? And then I win. Well, now people who are coming to buy this from me, what I'm selling now, their first question is, well, what's wrong with it? Why is it so cheap? Well, I'll just go to buy from the same place everyone else goes. You're just cutting out the middleman. I don't need to get paid as much as he needs to get paid. You know what I mean? So then now I'm selling this legal product, right?
Got the quantity now.
Yeah, correct. So like, let's just say, for example, let's just say someone has a car dealership, right? And this car dealer goes to these car auctions where all used cars come from, and he buys, let's say he buys a 10-year-old Mercedes for $3 grand, and he's not going to sell it for less than, say, $7 grand, right? No less. And then he's going to finance and get interest, make more money. Well, I'm going to go to the same place and buy the same Mercedes for $3 grand. But since he wants 7, if I sell mine for 45 and I undercut him, well, then you don't even want to go look at him anymore, right? Because my price is better, and I went to the same place he got them from with the same quality. So now I'm selling them quicker than him, right? Because he's gonna make all of his.
You don't sold about 5, 6,
and 7. And I sold about 5. Yeah, so I done made more in the long run. And so in the field that I'm in now, I'm competing with these guys.
It's free game, yo.
Yeah, where I go and do business, man, nobody looks like me. Which is cool. It feels good. You know, it's okay to own who you are. It's all 50-year-old white men in business suits and ties, you know what I mean? And I'm the only one going out there looking like me, but it feels good because now I'm doing something legitimate. You know what I mean? I'm not having to look over my shoulder and worry about if some cop is finna pull me over as I make it from here to here. You know what I'm saying? Am I gonna make it home? Am I gonna get, you know what I mean? Am I gonna get arrested? I'm not gonna have to worry about if someone gonna rob me. You know what I mean? When they cut, you know what I'm saying? So I'm doing right, and I'm teaching my kids, I'm teaching my family, I'm teaching my sons, my daughter, you know what I mean? Something that I'm building something that I can give to them one day. You know what I mean? So that when they get to that place, they don't have to worry about I lost a job, I lost my job. Daddy already kind of established to make the same decision. And yeah, now what do I do? You know what I'm saying? It's women it's women out here. This girl didn't want to be a stripper. She didn't have no other choice. You know what I mean? My daughter's gonna have hold up. My dad got a business with my last name on it. You know what I mean? Jackson Automotive. That's my last name. I own that company. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't got to go ask for a job. You know what I mean? Right. I'm finna start giving jobs out, you know? Right. And then her whole dynamic and her whole situation changes and stuff. I guess just to be clear on the business though, I've owned a handful of car dealerships since I've come home, and it's been a blessing. And to get into that business specifically, this is what I tell everyone. It doesn't take a lot. A little can turn into a lot. Just like we talked about putting that seed in the ground, a little can turn into a lot. I came home with $2,700 to my name. That was it. And I didn't even come home with it, you know, because when you selling dope and you get locked up and get caught up, and you lose everything. You even lose the people that said they love you. You know what I mean? You literally come back and start from zero. So my grandmother said, when you're gone away on this time, I'm not going to send you no money. But I'm going to save something for when you come home. I'm going to save like $1,000 for you. And that's cool, whatever, because nobody owe you nothing, right?
Right.
Just I'm going to save some money for you. I'm going to save $1,000. I'm not going to send you nothing while you're gone. Okay. I mean, what can I say? And my father, he come and visit me right before I come out, and he says, you know, you're going to need a car. So I'm going to help you get a car. My daddy, and or I'm gonna give you some money for one. Well, I get out, and within 2 weeks of being out, I meet someone that's going to dealers auctions, and I'm on parole, so I got the ankle monitor that got me anchored to the house. Well, my grandma come with an envelope and says, "Oh, here's that $1,000 I was gonna give you." My grandma don't. I guess my grandma looks at me like I always been some rich guy or something, because she said, I saved you $1,000 to get some t-shirts and underwear. I'm like, Grandma, I don't know what type of t-shirts and underwear you think I wear, but I ain't gonna spend $1,000 on t-shirts and underwear for sure, right? She probably think I wear silk drawers or something, right? Which is cool if you think that about me, cool. But so she give it to me in an envelope, and my pops say, I know you need a car, and here's $1,700, right?
Right.
And at first it was a gift, but then he said I owed the money back later, so that's cool. It ain't no big deal. But so now I had $2,700, right, when I met this person to take me to inside a dealer's auction, and a guy by the name of Mario, and he let me spend my $2,700 in there. Well, I bought not one car but 2 cars, and that $2,700 I flipped. So I solved 2 problems. Now I got transportation because I came home and owed nothing. So I got transportation and I got a job. My job is to sell these cars. That also solved a problem for parole because you have to be employed. So I went down to wherever it is, City Hall, and paid to get my DBA, my doing business as, right?
Okay.
So now my parole officer said, well, where are you going to work? Right here for Remington Jackson Automotive, right? And they say, okay, cool. So get out of my face, right? And so you do that. You figure out that problem. But then within that week, I had those 2 cars at $2,700. And I had a little bit of all I ate was Jack in the Box, 2 for 99 cents tacos every day, right? I was like, I can't get a taste for nothing good. The first one was a Ford Explorer, is a little Eddie Bauer edition or whatever, old one, probably like 20 years old now or whatever, but it didn't reverse. It didn't reverse at all, right? I'm at the dealer's auction. And then the second one was like one of these Dodge Stratuses or whatever. Speaking of, I want to go back. Yeah, because I remember a Dodge Neon. Yeah. Now that I think about it. But the other one was a Dodge Stratus. And we had like black leather in it or whatever, something like that. Either way, I bought them both for $2,700. The first one I sold, like within like I bought it, I posted it on like Craigslist or whatever, and I sold it maybe within like 4 hours of having it. Not only did I sell it within 4 hours of having it, but I sold it and it covered the cost of, I made like over like $4,000 total
off that one
right
vehicle.
off that one vehicle. So it covered the cost of the both because they were 2,700, right? And within 4 hours, I had just watched it, brought it, took pictures, and posted it. That was it. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I had to brush to get back in the house because my ankle monitor said I had to be home by like 5 o'clock. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I couldn't do nothing but sit. They came, they gave me the money, and I gave them the car, and they left. Well, then the next one I posted, and I wanted to be as upfront as possible, right? Because if I'm not, then you're gonna find out later. I'm gonna look like a dummy. I wasted your time, my time, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so a school teacher comes and she says, I like the car for the price you got it at. I said, doesn't reverse. She says, it's cool. Let me talk to my husband about it. He comes back at night. This is now a few days later, right? So he comes back at night, he drives it. He says, let me just talk to my mechanic. Calls a mechanic. I guess they explain whatever the issue is. I don't even know that much about cars, right? I'm just telling them. They said, we're comfortable with it. They give me what I asked for. I got over $6,000 now. I got over $6,000, right?
Off the initial seed money of 2,700.
Exactly. Off of the initial seed money of 2,700, over $6,000, closer to $7,000, right? In my pocket. So now I'm like, okay, well, I'm not finna get no taste again for champagne and caviar. No, I'm gonna keep eating Jack in the Box. As a matter of fact, I was confined to the hospital. My daughter was on her deathbed when I came home that week.
Right.
So I had to, and then her recovery process took some time too. So we had to sleep in the hospital. So that also covered the fact that I didn't need a place to stay. I didn't have to pay rent nowhere because my daughter's over here. We fighting for her life. So I'm going to the auction. I'm grabbing these cars, and then I'm driving them to the hospital and actually selling them outside of the hospital or whatever.
My man.
Yeah. So I'm just going downstairs.
You gonna make it happen.
Yeah. So I'm kissing my baby or whatever on the lips or whatever. She don't understand nothing I'm saying. I'm going downstairs. I'm showing them the car. I'm counting the money. I'm coming back upstairs. You know, and then I don't need a babysitter because my daughter is in a hospital. She got like 30 nurses. You know what I mean? Coming in and out the floor or whatever. So so that those two, I take the money. I don't spend nothing. I eat tacos. Oh, and then I eat for free at the hospital. Right? God will put everything in place for you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you feel like your life is falling apart. I could have felt like that. Man, I'm home. I'm on parole or whatever. My daughter is dying, literally. But some things fall apart so that better things can fall together. You feel me? God knows what he's doing. And if you have faith, if you trust him, you know what I'm saying? If you love him, even if you don't believe in him, he believes in you, you know?
Right.
And so my daughter has a band to eat at the hospital every day. Well, the band is just for her, but my daughter gets fed through her stomach. She can't eat. My daughter don't even eat for the first couple of years of her life. She gets fed through her tube in her stomach anyways. Well, then I use the band. I go down, I get the steak, dinner, the shrimp, whatever they got, chicken, you know what I'm saying? The vegetables. So I'm eating healthy. And then I'm just buying and selling these cars outside the hospital. God is setting up everything, right? You don't got to worry about being a felon and trying to get an apartment. I got you right here in this hospital with your daughter. You don't got to worry about, I'm not even going to put you in a situation where you can spend your money, trick it off here or there because you're stuck on an ankle monitor. You got to be back in it at this time. So I take the initial 2,700 and the two cars, they gone within like days. I go back to the same place. I buy 4 this time, right? And I just let it keep growing and it just keeps growing. You know what I mean? And it's been a blessing, like I said, to save my life. It changed my life, and then you're helping people too. Other dealerships that'll tell someone no because they gotta worry about your paychecks or your credit or this or that. Well, I'm the guy that's gonna say yes. You know what I mean? We're gonna say yes in my operation and our situations. If we can say yes, we want to say yes. You know, I back then I was having to pick people up off the bus stop. They hadn't had a car and God knows how long. They say, hey, you got to pick me up at the bus stop with their baby. I'm putting them in a car. You know what I'm saying? They own us something. That's something we promote. Ownership, not loanership. You feel me? You know, because that's really the new con man, the guy who's going to put you in an interest rate situation and then rape you for the next, you know what I'm saying, 72 months or whatever. You know, so being able to have someone tell you, hey, man, everybody said no to me and you said yes to me. You know what I mean? Or this has been my, you know, that feels good as well. Because like I said, I'm not being greedy. I applied what I learned over here. You got the same quality product that the big guys got. but they want to make, you know what I mean, 40, 50, 60%, sometimes 100%, you know what I mean, markup. And that's fine because they got a lot of overhead. They got to do that, but I don't. And I'm able to just, you know, give it to you at this price with that all the difference of money that you would have gave them, you can keep that for your family now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And stuff. So it's just been but I was able to apply, okay, you got the best stuff, sell it at a price that's okay for you. You know what I mean? Because I know what's okay for me and my family, you know, and you can grow like that and things will start to take off. You know what I mean? Things will start to take off like a forest fire.
Okay. That's a great story, man.
Yeah. That's
so
my story.
Let's look at the behind the scenes.
Okay.
What hobbies are you interested in outside of music?
Hobbies outside of music. Yeah, and I don't consider music necessarily a hobby. It's my life. You know what I mean? I invested in all those things and pour my heart, my soul into it. You know, when I'm gone, that's what my daughter's gonna have. You know what I mean? She's gonna be able to listen to what Rem Smooth was going through, what her daddy was going through. But outside of music, I love poker. So
really,
yeah, that's something that I've taken up where I've even said to myself, I like to be a professional poker player one day.
I can see you doing that and being very successful.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot. Let's see what happens. But poker or whatever, poker. I even teach my fiance poker. So you know, I love hitting the casinos when I can, and I'm a great poker player or whatever. In fact, I done good in the poker world or whatever. My face has been around the poker world, the poker scene. But yeah, so I love poker. Working out for sure. I want to stay healthy. I want to be here. I want to raise my grandkids. You know what I'm saying? I want to see my daughter when she's getting married. I want to see my daughter when she's old. You know what I mean? Hopefully I can be here when she's retiring. You know, so working out is really important to me, and now trying to find the time to, you know what I'm saying? Be so busy, but I like poker. Just something about it. You know what I mean? Working out for sure.
Is it because you're taking risk within reason?
It is. It's definitely, yeah. It's all calculated risk. And it's not like gambling like at the slot machine where it's like, if I win, cool, but I didn't do anything to affect that win, then press a button. And if I lose, I don't even know why I lost, right?
Poker does require some strategy to it.
Yeah, poker is all skill, right? So if I win or lose, it's all mathematics. If I do good, I know why I did good, right? And if I lose, I know what I did wrong. I'll go back, replay that, review it, and then try getting better. And then a lot of times it's, you know, it's figuring somebody else out. You know what I mean? All of a sudden you start running your mouth at when we quiet or whatever, you throw all your chips in and you start running your mouth or whatever, you kind of showing you know, it's a lot of other stuff in there. And stuff, you know, I like it, you know what I'm saying? I enjoyed it. And I picked it up when I was gone. So then I just, you know what I'm saying? Reading, I don't get to read enough like I used to, you know what I mean? But I would say I like poker. I like working out, you know what I mean? I like reading. And every now and then when me and my daughter get to do some charity work, you know what I mean? I really like that. There's been times where me and my daughter are able to go feed just go feed a select few of families, you know what I mean?
We have to get you out there with us every year, the Sunday before MLK Day.
Okay.
We have giving back to the communities.
Oh, really?
We do it in Dallas, Houston, and New Orleans.
Okay.
Simultaneously.
Okay, cool.
So we have to reach out to you.
It's when?
The Sunday before MLK Day.
Oh, right before MLK Day. Okay, cool. Yeah. I give around that area, as a matter of fact, you know, right around Martin Luther King or whatever. I like that. I like pouring that into my daughter. I want her to be a giver. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that way when I'm gone, you know what I mean? Those are the things that I really want to instill in my kids and my children and my family. You know, that we're going to take when we got to take, but when it's time to give, it's time to give too.
That's true.
You know what I mean? We got to do for us, but after God has helped us, it's our responsibility to take some of that and help somebody else too.
Be a steward of the blessings that you receive.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So you've always been a bigger than life personality to me. Like I say, you've always exuded confidence.
I appreciate you.
Has there ever been a time where someone actually starstruck you that you met?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. In fact, I used to always wonder if I would ever tell this story. And
are we getting exclusive then?
Yeah, definitely. I used to. It was about two people that were close to me that were here to witness it, and then that are close to me. I also always wondered if this story that I'm talking about would ever come out in somebody else's documentary or film. But when you say starstruck, I met DMX.
Okay.
I met DMX, but I met DMX before he passed, and he had just did a show. I didn't see a show or anything like that. I was outside the show, as a matter of fact, and I got DMX was a guy. He had a song when I was a kid that I used to listen to. You know what I loved about DMX and his music. You listen to DMX probably, right?
I was listening to him this week.
Oh, that's awesome. That's dope. That's dope. DMX is a great man. Well, every project he did, no matter, as a matter of fact, the first project I ever did was inspired by DMX.
Really?
The first little like mixtape or whatever you call it album I did with me and a dude in the closet in Birchwood Apartments in East Dallas or whatever was inspired by his project. I was going over names of that project with a friend. I was like, call it the RemBSmooth project. He's like, nah, that's been done too many times. The kid said, what was one of DMX's early projects? I said, I don't know. It's Dark and Hell is Hot or whatever. He said, yeah, it need to impact you like that. So the name of that first project, you can't find a lot of places, but if you're a real RemBSmooth fan, you can find it. And I might put it back out. It was called You May Die. And that was just my first little, and it wasn't even about, it was just about, it was really the You May Die thing was about the fact that you got a purpose here and it doesn't matter the outcome. Just fulfill your purpose. Just keep working as if it's already yours. I was reading scripture with Moses where he died before he entered the promised land. And I'm like, but man, and when it was time for him to die, because he had did something right with the, what did he break the stone tablets or whatever? He did something to anger God. So he said, you're not going to make it to the promised land. You're going to have to give your brother's going to have to lead the people. And God wasn't crying. He wasn't in tears or nothing like that or whatever. And I was like, man, he's telling him he's going to die. He did all this work. And then he ain't crying to God, begging him, saying, God, I don't want to die. He's just like, all right, well, I'm going to die before I go to the promised land. And then he got to tell this to his brother, hey, I'm going to die. I'm not going to enter in with you. And I'm like, man, he did all this good stuff, but he don't get to go to the promised land. He done freed, you know what I'm saying? He done freed God's people. And you can't walk into the promised land. But then I realized that you still got to do the work that God put here for you. And you might make it to the promised land, or you may die.
Right.
But that ain't up to you. That's up to God. You just do what you was put here to do.
It's already decided.
It's already decided. So that's how I came up with the name with that project, right? I said, okay, well, you may die. But the friend was like, go think of what like DMX would name, right? So now the full circle, we talking about full circle. Okay, it's funny how you asked that question, right? So, okay. So now, years later, I'm out at South by Southwest.
Okay.
And DMX is with his entourage, and they coming out the back of a show or whatever, and stuff. And anyways, when he come out, I get to bump into him, and I get to talk to him, because it's this song that I listen to. Everything DMX. Let me get there. Everything DMX. Every album he had one prayer on every album. It didn't matter what he rapped about. He might have had he had songs about like, a hitman about to kill somebody, this, that, whatever. He had great music, one of the best to ever do it. I love DMX.
Right.
But it don't matter what he was talking about, what he was rapping about up into this one track, he had a prayer on the album. Every album. And then after the prayer, he had a song where it was like dedicated to like Jesus or dedicated to God or whatever. On every album. Do you remember these?
Yep.
And so it had been a time even in my life to where the same way someone said they listened to my music and it saved their life, right? Well, there had been a time in my life to where DMX did that for me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Especially going through what I had gone through, being away from my daughter. You know what I mean? All of that stuff. So at that time, or whatever, there was a song that he had called Angel. It's a really great song. It's on that. And then there was X Project, right? That's the one where he got the song with this is the same album with the song with Cisco. I love Drew Hill and Cisco, where it was like the Shaquanda, Rwanda, he's saying all like 100 names or whatever, putting them all on blast. We had a song called Angel, and he had a prayer. And I would listen to this repeatedly when I was going through those emotions and just doubting who I was and where I was in life, and if I even wanted to exist and be here. And that song, I kid you not, that prayer and that song Angel, it would bring tears to my eyes, but it would let me know it was okay. You know what I mean? He was, I'm calling out to you, Father, because I need your help. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All that. This is DMX. This is what he's doing in his music. He don't know the lives that he's saving or touching from just something as simple as that. Well, I bump into this man, and I don't know how the conversation starts or what started about the conversation. Matter of fact, because I'm doing business outside of South by Southwest. And we got a food truck right there.
Okay.
So I'm like, we give a DMX whatever he want. You know what I'm saying? Hey, come get some food.
It's on the house.
Yeah, for sure. And but it's not. So I had a cousin that used to ask me always like for some money or this or that. So I would invest in his food trucks and stuff like that. Because I was like, I ain't gotta keep letting you borrow money if I invest in you, right? If I invest in you and give you the seed money to start the business, and then you making a few $100s a day, then you can't ask me for no money no more, right? So I'm just
helping you help yourself.
Yeah. So the food truck is right there, right? And so we in Austin during South by Southwest. I'm just chilling, like taking in the scene and everything or whatever. When people come out, hey, y'all come over here, y'all come right here. You know what I'm saying? And so anyways, we tell DMX, he's like, cool, whatever. They tell you people get something, right? But something happens in the middle of me talking to him and I always contemplate if I tell this story where I break down and I cry in tears. And I never thought I would be that person. You know how they used to show video of like Mike just walking the room, people fainting and carrying him out the ambulance or something like that. I don't know how or what came over me, but this is the first time I ever told this story. And my cousin who was right there and my friend Roro, they looking at me and they like, we not gonna never let you forget this. We're gonna tell everybody you cry. In fact, once he walked away, it was like he was the tears in your eye and everything. And I cried though, but I was telling him what his music had did for me in my life. And I think he sat there and he listened. I believe they had a camera right there because at some point when I was crying, I'm having a genuine conversation with one of the people in his entourage realized, oh, this is look good on camera. The same way I said, like, a homeless man don't want me to film me helping him.
Right.
But now you filming me crying because it's going to look good for your dude, right? It's going to look good for DMX, right? But this is who DMX really was, though, And they point out like, God, the camera coming out, let me turn or whatever and try to wipe my tears. But I got snot coming out my nose. How much I'm crying.
You ugly crying,
man. Yeah. I can't even talk, right? I couldn't even talk. I could breathe after I get through it. And he says a prayer for me. You know what I'm saying? We pray right there. And he gets into his Sprinter van and they leave. And they go, and that was it. And I exchange info with his people too, or whatever, because they know I'm an artist. So I exchange info with his people, and all of that, and that was cool and everything like that. And that was the moment I was starstruck or whatever. So the only, probably the only other man that ever really made me cry too. God, now I think.
Okay, we want to try to cheer the mood up a little bit. That's a great story as well, man.
Yeah, it's a true story. DMX, one of the greatest to ever do it for sure. Definitely on
R.I.P. man.
Yeah.
Who are your favorite sports teams?
Oh man, so let me tell you something. So if anybody ever see pictures of me when I was a kid or a baby, I'm from Dallas, but like probably when I was like 1 or something like that, or not even, probably before that, we moved to California, to Pomona or whatever, and so my father always had me like in Lakers color stuff. Lakers and Raiders stuff. Oh, it was Oakland Raiders back then, whatever. Now they done moved, but he always had me, and I always wondered, like, always the clothes he would get me, always Lakers colors or Oakland Raiders colors, right? But I'm born in Dallas, right? And then we moved back to Dallas years later or whatever, right? And stuff. And so I'm a doubt you asked me that question. If anyone ever caught me in any Lakers gear or whatever, any Raiders gear, those were not my teams. My dad must have put me in those clothes, okay?
You gotta put the disclaimer out.
Yeah. But court, man, my teams is right here. Dallas Mavericks, you know what I'm saying? Dallas Cowboys. I will say when I was younger, I loved Iverson, so I did like Philly and stuff like that. Okay. But I like the player more than the actual, you know what I'm saying, team or whatever.
I was the same way.
Yeah, certain players.
I was a Mavs fan, but I grew up watching MJ.
Yeah, right. Well, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Mavericks, Texas Rangers, you know what I'm saying, Dallas Stars, all of that or whatever. And I'm glad that we got to the Cowboys, man. All the good stories, all the rings, all the Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith. That was like kind of like right before the time where I could understand football. So unfortunately, I come into the era with Tony Romo, right? which I always had to fight to tell people Tony Romo is statistically like one of the greatest statistically, right? But people don't care about big numbers. When you start to look at numbers and on paper, it's like statistically. But that's a hard person to have to defend. You know what I mean? Because don't nobody else care nothing you talking about. So growing up that was tough, right? He didn't make it easy for us. But seeing what Dak, you know what I'm saying, and Zeke they done got us closer than just about anybody, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? And then we got to see Nowitzki give us a ring. You know what I'm saying? And I think now with Kyrie,
one of the greatest,
yeah, and him statistically too, one of the greatest to ever do it, right?
Right.
One of the best all time. Is he? Where is he on the all time score list?
He's top 10.
Okay, I thought he would be like top 5.
He might be. I know he's definitely top 10.
Yeah. So being able to see that in my lifetime, because I do remember seeing Michael Finley when I was a kid, right? I do.
My favorite Maverick of all time.
Really, Michael Finley?
Okay. He was those real bad years after J.
He was, yeah. After Jason Kidd, but Kidd came back though.
He came back.
Yeah.
But
remember Steve Nash?
It was just him by himself.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. You always need help. You know what I'm saying?
Until we got Nash and Dirk. But
yeah, remember Jamal Mashburn?
I remember Monster Mash.
Yeah, and then I was a kid and everything like that. But we really had a team back then too with Nowitzki.
He's number 6 all time.
Oh, number 6. Okay. Yeah. Okay, because he just got pat because LeBron just went higher up the list, didn't he?
Yeah. He's Dirk is in between Wilt and Mike.
Okay. He's probably after Shaq too. Is Shaq up there?
Shaq is below him.
Oh, right below him.
You got LeBron, Kareem, Karl Malone, Kobe, MJ, Dirk, and Chamberlain.
Whenever I look at those lists too, Kareem seemed to be like top on like a lot of those lists.
That's my goal.
Okay. Yeah, is it?
He's won at every level, man.
Well, my favorite player would be Allen Iverson, right? During the time that I come up to being able to look and appreciate basketball.
That's when And One was hot, huh?
And when mixtapes too, you remember the mixtapes and all that too?
Yeah,
absolutely. But nah, I think we got Kyrie. I think we're gonna do something. I think we're gonna do something.
We're gonna see.
Yeah, Luka, he had a bad game.
Yeah, he hurt right now.
Yeah. But I mean, before he got hurt, did you see? It was like we were putting up how many points they were putting up together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was balling, but we weren't stopping nobody.
Yeah, well, that's the crazy. Yeah, I just seen now. You seeing like 130 to 100 and like it wasn't like that when I was a kid because people played defense. People got hurt. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't even go up like that without.
Man, don't tell them youngsters that. They don't want to hear all that.
Nah,
What's your go-to meal?
So I like to cook.
Okay.
I'm a cook in my home, right? Of course, my fiance cooks as well.
I can relate.
Yeah, my fiance cooks. She cook, but I like, and they like me to cook too, though.
Right.
So she cooks great. She cooks a lot of like good Mexican food or whatever, cool dishes, and stuff. But my go-to meal, this is easy. And anybody in my home will tell you this. I love salmon, fish. Okay. So salmon. And then I do like a vegetable curry, like I do like a vegetable curry,
okay,
or like a stir fry mix or whatever. Sometimes I throw some curry sauce in there or whatever, but I do salmon and some vegetables, you know what I'm saying? Man. Some edamame, some broccoli or whatever, some carrots, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just I can eat fish almost every day of the week. That's my go-to meal.
That sounds good.
I'm trying to think if I left anything out on there or whatever the way I do it, but that's Brussels sprouts. You know what I'm saying? I put Brussels sprouts in there.
I've never had a Brussels sprout.
Are you serious?
My whole life.
Okay. You should try it. You should try it.
What, it tastes like cabbage?
No. It tastes better. Well, it depends on how you do it. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of it comes seasoned and then roasted or whatever. Right. Some of it caramelized and stuff like that. It kind of tastes like, if it's done right, if it's done like how I just said it, it tastes like a candy of vegetables. Really? In a weird kind of way. Yeah.
All right, I'm at the.
Sometimes it can even taste like a meat. It's a vegetable, but if it's done right, you know what I mean? It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to
try
over here.
Time.
Y'all got a kitchen over here?
Not yet.
Okay, well, y'all get a kitchen over here. I come, or I have to invite you over, or whatever.
Absolutely,
and
man. One. So we're almost at the finish line. I'm having so much fun tonight. We hanging out here with Rem Smooth.
Sir.
Man. But parting shots. Tell us something that your followers don't know about you.
Okay. Well, we were just talking about food. This is funny. Unless you know me personally, unless you eat with me regularly, I've never eaten one food in my life that I did not like.
What?
I've never tasted one thing that I did not enjoy. Nothing.
Liver too?
Yeah, I like liver. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, gizzards, all that. You know
I eat gizzards. I don't eat no. I can't mess with the liver though.
So I've never eaten. I've never tasted, eaten. No one has ever cooked or prepared anything for me that I did not thoroughly enjoy. In fact, my stepdad always tell me, like, don't ask Remington if something tastes good or not, right? If they go somewhere, because he like everything. My mom is like that too, actually, believe it or not. And I think I got it from, though, when I was young, my uncle used to watch me, and he used to not let me get up until I cleaned everything off the plate. And you know how, like, if you're a kid, if you like spill it because you think you ain't gonna have to eat it,
right?
Well, he didn't care. You pick it up off the ground and you're gonna eat it because you're playing with him. That's what he thought, right? So I think that just made me just start enjoying. Also, I'm the type of person, if something bad is going on in my life, I'm gonna look at the bright side of things anyways. So I probably adopted that food mentality, like with him, like I might as well just enjoy it. I gotta eat it. You know what I mean? And stuff. And then I think I just genuinely started liking different things, you know. But yeah, that's probably something nobody knows about me. Something else nobody probably knows about me is something that I always have wanted to do. This is gonna seem juvenile or something, but I never done a backflip in my entire life. And I think about that, it keeps me up a lot of times because I'm like, man, a lot of things I've done, I could do it, I could try it, I could jump out a plane, you know what I'm saying? We go, you know, skydiving.
Not
or
even
whatever.
on the trampoline?
Not even on a trampoline.
Wow.
I'm not. And sometimes I've been in great shape, right? Sometimes I haven't been in the best shape or whatever, anything like that. But there's been times where I'm like in top-notch shape. You know what I'm saying? My sister was a gymnast also. So I used to go to where they practice gymnastics. You ever been in one of them like facilities and stuff? But something has stopped me my entire life from going through with attempting a backflip. And I don't know what it is.
Is it a potential injury, maybe?
I think, but I mean, even as a kid, I wanted to do it, but something in me was just too like, yeah, I got there. That's about it. That's where I stopped. So that's definitely something a lot of people probably don't know about me. Something else, maybe, I don't know, people know this about me. If you know me personally, you probably know this. But if you don't know me, I'm mixed. I'm multicultural. I'm mixed race. To simplify things, my father is a black man from Mississippi, and my mother is a Mexican woman, right, from Oak Cliff or whatever. So a lot of people probably look at me and don't even know what I am, who don't know me. You know what I mean? And it's not like I just broadcast that normally, but I'm mixed race. I'm black and Mexican.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So last question I got for you. If you had any upcoming projects that you have going on that you haven't already discussed with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking me. So again, my name is RemBSmooth, and I appreciate y'all having me. My new single right now, Pamela, is out. Pamela, my single, is out wherever you listen to music, Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever you listen, it's there. And I'm releasing the EP, should be here by the summertime, called Never Gone Forever. Each song in there is a track named after a girl that I had a story with, right? It might have been a love story, it might have been a nightmare, you know what I mean? But just a situation.
You're getting deep there, man.
Yeah, each song. So a lot of times, what made me want to write it was in the previous project 621, a couple friends who know you personally be like, oh, I know who you wrote that about, or you wrote that line about this person, or who'd you write this about? He called me on the phone, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna do a project where they don't gotta ask me no more. You know what I mean? Because I'm kind of like an open book.
That's unique, man.
Yeah, it's different.
I think that might be the first ever.
I think so too. And so uniquely, we decided to, for like, we don't want to get sued by nobody, and we don't want to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nobody. So we put X's in the name where the vowels were, right? Where all the vowels were. So A-E-I-O-U, you know what I'm saying? Just for legal purposes.
I like that concept.
Right. Some names might have been changed just to protect me, right? Like protect the identity. However they do the disclosure, what's the disclaimers or whatever. Some names have been changed to protect the identity. Yeah. But we put X's where all the vowels were in the names, right? Well, incidentally, each girl in the project, Pamela, Cynthia, Kimberly, all of them, right, had 3 X's They only had 3 vowels. So we're adults, right?
Right.
And so, and the project, some of the songs are explicit. So we were like, well, that works perfectly.
Man,
so
they just falling in the line.
Yeah, so it just fall in line. So Pamela is out now, right? Out the project, Never Gone Forever. The whole entire project should be here by the summer. Pamela, the music video's out and the song. And then Cynthia is the next one that's coming out. And it leads up. This is my real life. It leads up to the last girl in the project is my fiance, who I'm with today. Who I'm here with now. And that was the crazy thing about this project is she got hired to play the role of the first girl, Pamela. She only got hired to play that role. And it's kind of like not necessarily art imitating life, but just like, you know, when someone says art and life for some people, you know what I mean?
Right.
It means, so she gets hired. I never met this girl before, just to play the role representing this girl, Pamela. And we have a series of shoots within like a week, like 2-3 shoots, and then another shoot coming, you know what I mean? And we get to know each other and we fall in love, and she becomes the central part of the story, when all she was there was hired was to play a small part in the story. Wow. She becomes the entire story. Man. Yeah, so that was the other thing about my music, why it's so important to me. You know, the guys we talked about that was suicidal, or the guy that had helped him through his divorce. And then, you know, sometimes to help yourself, you got to help somebody else first. When I was doing that, I was just pouring my heart out, right? And it helped someone else. Well, now it's my turn. And now my music is over here helping me. It didn't, you know what I'm saying? It brought me everything I love in life. Everything that I'm happy to wake up to today. My music brought me that. You know, like somebody else, their music might have brought them 1 million followers or $1 million. You know what I'm saying? But my music literally brought me my dream girl. You know what I'm saying? My dream family. You know, I wake up next to her every day. She's the last girl on the project or whatever, and stuff. So y'all get ready for that one. But Pamela is out right now. The single by RemBSmooth, wherever you listen to music. Cynthia's coming out next. And I'm going to keep releasing them up until the summertime. So you got a lot of music coming from me. Okay. And even once that project is done, because I'm working with 2 great labels, I got another project coming right behind it. So I got the artillery. I got it loaded up or whatever. You know what I mean? I got a 100-round drum, and we just going to release and release and release. But I got real good music. So Never Gone Forever is the EP. It'll be here summer. The single out right now is Pamela, and the upcoming single is Cynthia. Pamela is out everywhere right now, wherever you listen to music, the song, the music video, all of that.
And before we leave, and I hate for it to come in and having such a great time, but you had said something at the beginning, how things come back full circle. Mm-hmm. That's what you started, the whole interview with.
Yeah.
And then we also talked about a lot of times, you can obtain wealth, but part of the wealth that you actually get is experiencing the journey you take.
Absolutely.
And it looked like you've done that, man.
I appreciate you.
I'm so proud of you, brother. I'm so proud of you, man. How can people find you on social media?
Sure. My name is RemBSmooth. That's RemB. I started to twist my fingers. But my name is RemBSmooth. That's me right there, or whatever, if you looking at this. But it's REM space B space smooth. I came up with that name with Raymond when I was working for you or whatever. When we were looking for when I was trying to figure out my name as an artist. Sometimes now I think I should have just went with my regular name, because now people do that, like Kendrick Lamar or whatever and stuff like that. I'm like, kind of got a cool name already as it is. But at that time it wasn't like that, like you Lil Wayne or you know what I'm saying? You're somebody else. But it's RemBSmooth is my name or whatever. I'm sure they have it right here. And Rem is a part of my first name, you know what I'm saying? And I will get into another story later on how we came up with the name. But my name is RemBSmooth, man. All my socials are RemBSmooth. On Instagram, it's RemBSmooth. On YouTube, it's RemBSmooth. Spotify, Apple Music. Please go stream, because that helps us. That's part of the way we feed our families as artists and everything like that. But listen, it's RemBSmooth, you dude. I'm coming at you with good news, like the boss man and W2s. You feel me? It's big biz, also the no fizz. Hey, I want you guys to keep putting God first, and you never gonna be second. Bless up.
Appreciate my brother.
Hey man, I appreciate you.
All right,
fam. I appreciate you
already.
Okay.